Right, welcome to this deployment tactics video. It's for the Red Scorpions. This video is to go hand in hand with the complete army video. That'll give you the full lowdown on the list here for the Red Scorpions at 2,000 points, latest points values from Games Workshop. But in this video, we're taking the list and then illustrating how it's to be used on the battlefield. So what units go in reserve, where do the characters go, what units flank, deep strike, where each unit goes on the battlefield, and what their role is during the game. It's great to see armies laid out, but how practically do you use them in a game? That's the idea behind this video series. So what I'm going to do is run through the list here briefly. For the full lowdown, do check out the complete army video. So for the Red Scorpions, I'm running the Gladius Task Force detachment for them. We have Techmarine across here, Apothecary, as we have an Ancient, a Lieutenant, a Gravis Captain. The enhancement for him is the Honour Vehement. A Lieutenant's taking Fire Discipline, and also Artificer Armour, just a few spare points going on to the Apothecary. I have 2 squads of 3 Inceptors with the bolt guns, the assault bolters, 2 squads of Aggressors, 2 squads of 6, all going for the Dacker option. So the Bolt Storm Gauntlets and Fragstorm Grenade Launchers for those. Infernos Marines, full squad of 10. Hellblasters, full squad of 10. 2 squads of 5 Intercessors. The Redemptor Dreadnought with a Macroplasma Incinerator. And then we also have 2 Gladiator Lancers for some backline firepower support. So that's the list. Quite a standard bulky Space Marine army. We'll show you how it deploys on the battlefield. We've got like a mock scenario lined up for you on the table. So I've quite a standard scenario lined up here. They're all quite standard. The direction of the deployment zones may change. It may go diagonal, it may go from end to end. But generally speaking, you have a deployment zone running across the board. Usually get 1 home objective. The opponent has a home objective, I've just marked it across the other side of the board. And then usually has 3 no man's land objectives. Usually 1 dead center, and then 2 others, 1 on each flank. So 1 here on the right hand side, 1 here on the left hand side. For 10th edition, it's usually quite important you hold on to your home objective. And then what's crucial is the dominance and control of no man's land, both for picking up points for primaries, for holding on to these objectives, and also for helping you fulfill secondaries throughout the game as well. So those 3 objectives are crucial. Trying to control at least 2, if not 3 of those for most of the game, and that should see you through to victory. And then what can be a bonus and something to work towards, but not absolutely essential, is the disruption and capture of the opponent's objective as well, if and when the opportunity arises. Just before we start deploying units on the board, do check out gamemat.eu for your suppliers of battle mats and terrain. This mat is from them, it's called Sands of Time. It's actually one of their double-sided mats. So there's a grassy design on this side and then the desert design on the other. You can just flip the mat and you've instantly got a different table. So they're really good value. They come with a zip carry case, great for storage. You're actually getting 2 mats in one. Actually thicker as well with the 2 designs on that. Just rolls out nice and flat. Put out your terrain, actually using one of their terrain pieces as well, the warp portal. It's a great focal point, center piece here for this terrain setup. So link below for them. There's a discount code for 11% off across the store, which you can use, and they are shipping worldwide, so wherever you are, you can make your order and they can get the mats and terrain to you. So first thing is during deployment is to allocate your deep strikers and to put your characters in with their units. So Gravis Captain will bolster one of the Aggressor squads. The Techmarine goes alone. He'll hang around with the vehicles, just leave him where he is. My Lieutenant goes with the Hellblasters. He'll give them lethal hits for their shooting and the ability for the unit to fall back, shoot and charge built in. Very, very useful indeed. You're also allowed to add in Apothecary. It says that if you take a Captain, a Chapter Master or a Lieutenant, you can still add an Apothecary to the units. He goes in. He will give the ability of restoring models to the unit. Once 1 model in the command phase, and then I've also given him the ability called Fire Discipline, which will give the firepower from the unit sustained hits 1. So 6s to hit will be lethal thanks to the Lieutenant, and then 6s to hit will also pop bonus hits coming through with Fire Disciplines. It's a great combo with the Hellblasters, expecting a real good base of firepower from them. And then the banner to boost the OC control on the Infernos Marines, he usually will attach in with them. Deep Strikers, as standard, will be the 2 squads of Inceptors to deep strike in to support my units or to exploit gaps and capture objectives or fulfill secondaries throughout the game. Whatever they need it for, they can drop in turn 2 onwards as required. So I could flank, if it depends who you're up against, I could flank with one of the Aggressor squads, either with or without the captain. If I think the opponent's got a lot of firepower, perhaps up against the Tower, for example, or another faction that has lots of guns. I know these are going to get targeted, or up against an army that's very zippy around the ball, perhaps the Eldar with dangerous firepower and the ability to ambush very quickly. I might put one of these Aggressor squads into reserve and then flank with them. It will protect them, and hopefully I can arrive on the board with the initiative. I can rapid ingress with them, turn up on a flank, or if I wait, go behind enemy lines and then use them more effectively as opposed to lumbering across the board. We'll say this time around we don't need to do that, but that's certainly an option to bear in mind. Indeed, with any of these units, just to flank, if I think I'm up against overwhelming firepower, I can try and protect units by keeping them off the table. But I'm going to deploy in bulk and put the Aggressors on the board to make that decision now. What I will flank with, though, is one Intercessor squad, just as a handy unit for picking up secondaries, working its way around the edge of the board. So I'll just flank with one of those. So when I'm deploying, I usually just lay a model down from the unit, just to indicate, to remind me and the opponent that of my units, they're the ones that are going into reserves. So the opponent can see that. I remember that as well, and it just makes it nice and clear. And then once all the units are on the board, just put the models back up again and stand them up. So on to deployment. Usually the rule is that you put on the obvious stuff first and the weakest stuff first. So squad of Intercessors, for example, I'll deploy those. And I'm going to tuck them around here. I'm going to start them safe in a safe spot in range of the objective. They'll give that objective sticky. It's quite a good tactical move, and they can just hang around there. Next up, I think I found a good spot for the Techmarine. That's just stick him behind here. Now, he will get lone operative when he's near vehicles. I'm looking at this whole area has been blocked out by obscuring terrain. There is quite an open area across here. Just thinking of my firepower. There's a bit of an avenue of firepower down here. We're playing this as obscuring also. So it's not the clearest for firepower. So we'll have to react, I think, as enemy units sort of push around through across here. So I think my vehicles will be stationed around here. I don't want them too far away from the home objective. So I think they'll be lingering sort of at this part of the table. So I'm moving on here with my deployment. Techmarine's just gone in there. This terrain is really good for blocking line of sight, so it will protect these units here from firepower coming through for a good while, hopefully. So I'm going to deploy, and the central objective and the centre of the board is usually important enough, so I'm actually deploying these units here. So Infernos Marines with the banner, it'll be great if they can plant themselves on top of that central objective. The short range firepower from them, useful in this kind of terrain. Also the opponent trying to burst through this terrain. I've got a decent Overwatch unit, so a real good spot to have the banner. Suits the banner with his rules as well for getting into the centre of the table. To back them up, there could be a load of melee stuff come through here. The captain and the aggressors to join the attack across here as well. I think that's really well supported, so a nice big block there in the middle. I'm holding off with the Gladiator Lancers for now. I'm sort of waiting to see where the opponent puts their armour and their monsters, and then I can react with my armour appropriately. So, home objective pretty well defended. Central objective, 2 strong units ready to move out and go after that with firepower and close combat. A lot of Dakar, a lot of flames available from this, decent close combat. I think I've put a nice heavy amount there at the centre of the board. The other 2 objectives are important. So the one on the left hand side is in amongst this terrain, it's just there. I think that's one that's worth going after. This one here is much more in the open, which will be more difficult for me to capture, but so too be difficult for the opponents. We can leave that one open perhaps, and maybe focus on this one across here. So to go after that objective, I'm going to use the second Aggressor squad. I'm going to use the terrain to mask them. I'll set them up here, and the idea is they can push through with Dakar and close combat onto that objective. I think they're going to need support, so it's at this point I would again make use. We play this terrain here as obscuring, so this might be a good spot, I think, to put the Dreadnought to support them. He's nicely obscured by the terrain, and he can work his way around it to the left or to the right with firepower and close combat. So that's looking tough enough. Decent combination of units to then go for the left-hand objective. So I'm then thinking I would go here with the Hellblasters, and I've got a number of reasons, a number of good reasons for doing that. And I'm actually going to put the Hellblaster models towards the front. I want them in range and good line of sight early, and the characters can just support from the back. So you may be wondering why I'm reinforcing the middle. We'll put those in like so. I've put those there because, number one, they're very well protected. I've got obscuring terrain everywhere, so it's going to be very hard for the opponent to try and get to those, if not impossible on turn one. So that's good news for me. It also means if there's a real strong attack comes through there, I've got even more firepower support. What I'm thinking of is having a unit that can, these units are going to push forwards and go for the central objective. This unit behind can push forwards, shelter in here, and then I've got firepower options to go to my left to support this, or I can swap to my right to shoot across here and fire at targets in the open ground across here. So if I think I'm not going to move on to that objective, I can cover it to make it very difficult for the opponent. Cover it with decent firepower, so if the opponent does go after that one, they're going to get hit by a nice lot of firepower and hopefully disrupt and stop them from taking that. So strong on the home objective, go strong on 2, then deny the other one to the opponent. I think it's quite a strong play. Because in this situation, I don't want to go too spread out. Hellblasters across here would be a disaster on their own. I'd rather go strong on 2 and then deny the one to the opponent. It's not saying I'm not going to go after that one. I could drop in on that one later on. I've got Inceptors in reserve. I have Intercessors, which could flank if it gets cleared out later on and is safe. They could turn up on the flank and claim that objective. So I'm pretty much playing to the way the list was designed, which is blocks of infantry surging forwards. That's the way it's worked out here. I'm using the terrain to my advantage, so obscured with my units to protect them, but ready to flow out in different directions to go for those objectives. I've got 2 units left to put on the board, and now most of the opponent's army is on the table. I can look to see where their tougher armor targets are, and I reckon here is going to be a good spot. Again, nicely tucked away and hidden. I've got options to move out and lay down firepower from here, so that could be a good option. And the other one, I don't want these getting shot to pieces, so I'm primarily thinking of protection for these. I'm thinking across here. Something like this. This flank's very awkward. It's very open. There's nowhere for me to hide the vehicles. Not a good idea. I think across here is nice. I'm shielded, protected by my units, protected by terrain. It's going to be difficult for the opponent to try and get multiple units to shoot at these and destroy them. I'm not too far away from my Techmarine either. And so that's deployment done. Intent's quite obvious, to go for the central and the left-hand objective, anchor the home objective as well. Decent firepower from the back lines. Massed firepower, potential of close combat with the aggressors surging through as both parts of this force push forwards. So hold those during the game, fight for them. If I do really well, I could break through a unit and go on towards the opponent's objective, which is in quite an open position there. And then covering this objective with firepower from the Hellblasters and other units. And then gaps as they arise in the opponent's lines, behind their lines, or to support my own line. I've got 2 units of Inceptors that can drop in as needed on the board via deep strike. So I hope that's given you a good idea of deployment and then potentially how the game can unfold here for this force. Do let us know what you think of the tactics. You can make your own suggestions. What units would you add and drop from this list? And then if you've enjoyed this series, do leave a thumbs up and a comment. It does help support the channel and the video. And hopefully we can create more videos like this for the different factions and different lists as they come out on the channel. GamingFigures.com to pick up your Warhammer kits, armies and accessories. And then GameMat.eu, link for them below for your battle mats and terrain. Don't forget to use the discount code on their website as well. Thanks for watching. Tune in next time.